All right. Well, a pretty eventful FOMC session today. Essentially, we came into the session with a main watch on the 4,700 level in ES. We wanted to see if buyers could show continuation of the recent daily move. If you take a look at the near term action here, when we zoom out, price has just broken out of let me switch to the 30-minute chart. Price had just broken out of that 2 to 3 week consolidation range that we were in. It was 4,600 to 4,660. Now on Friday, we had an attempted breakout. Monday showed a bit of follow through. Yesterday, you have a retest of the 4,660, kind of adding conviction to that breakout point that it is going to be holding. Now, coming into today's session, we're just looking at prior day high, Tuesday's high, and the psychological level at 4,700 to see if buyers are going to continue to step up. Now, with FOMC, generally speaking, there is some risk baked in with these type of economic announcements, but as always, regardless of these economic announcements, the market is going to trade technically. And in this scenario, we have a market where buyers have been in control for the past 7 weeks. So probability was favoring the upside. I've been pretty vocal about that, having stated it repeatedly throughout not only this week, but the weeks prior, even when we were in the range as well. The main target that we were looking for on this 4-month downtrend breakout and change in character on the daily time frame chart here was the July high. Price is pretty much up and through that July high now. Question becomes, do we start to see, a bit of consolidation here, or is this just going to show a continuation? I'm more so leaning towards the idea that this is going to start to show a bit of a breather here in the 4730 area, 4750 area. The main watch and what we really want to be seeing is buyers defending that July high. I have this red zone on the chart here. That's kind of going to be the main watch into tomorrow's session. Today's action, pretty solid, all things considered. Leading into FOMC this morning, we had a couple of tradable bounces versus the 4,700 level. Both of those worked out nicely. You have a lot of low volume drift in the afternoon, late morning, early afternoon here. And then once FOMC, the rate decision comes around, we pretty much have the rate decision with price directly right there at 4,700. And you can see this thing just boarded a rocket, testing the 4,720 level, testing that upside 4,735 level, a bit of a sell off there, 10-point sell off, likely as longs are locking their profit into that July high. Now, what's interesting about this is if you take a fib from essentially when the announcement was made into that July high, buyers were eager to get back involved at that first shallow fib point. So pullback entry right through there, and we just resolve higher into the 4750 level. So overall, action today was quite technical. Some good trading opportunities today versus the posted levels. I know some of you guys were involved versus this 4735 retest. That's an extremely nice trade as well. As far as what we're looking at for tomorrow, we just want to make sure that buyers are continuing to defend essentially this red zone here. Now, what we should expect or start to expect is a bit of consolidation, a bit of a breather. Price is getting a bit far away from the fast MA. Generally speaking, when you have the index really pulling away from the fast MA, you want to start to expect some mean reversion. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'll personally be shorting, just means we want to be cautious with our expectations as far as the upside move is concerned. Now, the other thing I did want to take a look at is the weekly ATR. The weekly ATR is 122 points, so that means each week one bar will move about 122 points for ES. Now, currently, the current bar is up about 94 points. So we're pretty much getting into that one ATR move. We may have a little bit more upside potential here, maybe into the 4,800 level. That would give us another 30 points, which would be a solid 1 ATR weekly move. And then we can likely more firmly start to expect some consolidation, a bit of a breather. From this point forward, big picture, big picture, looking at the weekly and monthly chart, the next kind of target, assuming we are holding this structural change here, the July highs, the 47.35 area, the next target here is right through here, your April highs. That's going to be 48.60, just about. And then pretty much it's not a far shot from all-time highs. As surprising as that is, we're not far off now. If we go ahead and just do a measurement here, ES is currently about 5.5% off of all-time highs. If we take a look at SPY, I believe SPY is a bit closer. Taking a look at SPY, it's 2%, almost less than 2% away from a fresh all-time high on SPY. So that is the S&P. Again, just to reiterate, we're looking at the July high, and we want to see how that July high is being treated into tomorrow. Now, as far as NQ and QQQ, the main watch we've been looking at here is essentially this range breakout. You do have a near-term range here, a bit of a daily buy setup with the rising 21 MA right there. July highs are right through here. Like I've said a few times now, a consolidation near a big-time resistance point after a trend higher is not bearish. You want to be thinking about potential long opportunities through here, or at least having the consideration of a breakout in mind. And that's exactly what we've seen on NQ and QQQ. So there's a pretty straightforward, just a continuation play. We don't really have any, at least on the daily chart, just looking at this chart here, we don't really have any clear levels to work with. What I had mentioned this morning is that if the 16,600 continues to hold, which was prior day high, what you want to be looking for is 16,800. If you look at the high from today's session, we're right there at the 16,800. So NQ put in that 1 ATR move. Pretty solid. We're just looking, again, a lot of these index setups are very straightforward, just looking for that continuation move and just assessing whether buyers have that appetite for higher prices. That's all this is. Now, what I want you guys to understand is that there is a lot of chatter out there about it's too extended, it's overbought, this, that, and the other. None of that stuff matters, right? We just trade price. Price is currently trending higher, and it can continue to go higher. It can continue to stay in that overbought condition for a lot longer than people think that it can. These index products tend to move like a big cruise ship. They take a very long time to turn around. And so I won't be bearish. I won't even be considering shorts like I've mentioned over the past few weeks on ES until we start to see a real seller materialize. Doesn't mean you can't make money on the short side. Doesn't mean you can't be tactical with your shorts. Doesn't mean, you can't scalp short. You can definitely do that. That's just not for me. That's not what I'm going to be looking for. I'm primarily trading with the primary trend at play, and everything that I see in the chart currently points higher. So until we start to see more selling participation, I'll be focused exclusively on the long side. So that's ES as well as NQ. As far as individual names, the list was actually surprisingly short. I'll be looking at coin. This is a carryover idea, one that we've been watching, the past few weeks, the past month or so. I want to see continuation up through 150. A reminder on this setup is it is a big daily breakout. Like I've said a lot about these daily and weekly breakouts, is this is going to be a thematic type of trade, meaning we're going to have these setups on watch likely for weeks and months to come. So that's coin. We do also have DocuSign in there. This was an inside day when I put it on the list. It is breaking that prior day high now. This is a bullish setup. Again, we're just looking for continuation there, trading pretty much a pure trend move on much higher than average volume, right? As well as a change in character on the daily chart here. And then from there, we just had the UPST. So UPST, another one that has been on watch the past couple of weeks. You can see a prior idea here on the chart. now really showing that breakout move that we were looking for. This one stays on watch. Check volume today. I'll be looking for a second day play in this UPST tomorrow. So that's pretty much the list for today. Overall, some very good action, some very technical trading. The market was moving quickly, but regardless, we love to see the levels working nicely. Hope everyone had a profitable day, or at the very least played defense, played it safe on FOMC day. Can be definitely a challenging day to be trading. I will see you tomorrow morning during the pre-market prep live stream. Have a great afternoon.